And boom, here we are. What's happening, everybody? That's a southern thing. We don't say everybody, we say everybody. What's happening, everybody? Got the coffee. Oh, yeah, you know what cup it is. Let me show you. They should have put the logo on both sides. Maybe I'll recommend that to Waffle House. You got to put the logo on both sides because if I just sit here and sip like this, you don't see the logo. You don't know that it's my Waffle House cup. How am I going to advertise for it? Half the time because I hold my cup in my right hand. Let me go around this microphone. I hold it in my right hand. Of course, I see the logo, but you guys don't. For y'all to see the logo, got to hold it in my left hand. Well, I don't normally hold the coffee cup in my left hand. Hey, Jimbo, what's happening? What is happening? Look, we have had a good time around here over the last few days. Our grandchildren were here from Alaska, and we got to spend time with them for a few days. We took them back to the airport yesterday over in New Orleans. It was about 2.5 hour drive. Anyway, or a 2 hour drive. Got them to the airport, got them off. They're headed home, and we are right behind them. 2 days from now, we're getting on the plane. We're going to Alaska to go visit them. Got a special guest tonight. Look at here. Yep, Team Sansi's in the house. They can hear you.
I don't want to talk.
You don't want to? Well, it'll pick you up anyway. We got Georgie in here. Hey, Georgie. Jimba. Paul. Who else?
That's it.
Maybe that's it. All right, Georgie. You saw my comment. I need some music. I need a theme song for Live with Larry. That's what I need. So, just going to welcome you guys to the best talk show on YouTube. So I can say that. It's my opinion. Yeah, it's my opinion. There's Miss Jam. What's happening? Paul said, "There's our Sansi. Team Sansi's in the house."
Whoop, whoop.
I told her a little while ago that I was going live at a quarter till.
And I was busy.
She was busy, so she misunderstood. She thought we was going to do coffee with the Huffs. I guess I was not clear. You know how us husbands are. A lot of times we're not clear. So she come walking in. She started to walk away because I was doing live with Larry. I said, "No, we need a special guest."
But I'm not gonna stay long. I wasn't welcome.
Well, we appreciate what time you give for us, even if it's just a little bit.
I was actually working on my cruise.
Yeah, she's booking cruises.
No, I wasn't booking one.
It was cruise related.
Yeah. Trying to get the steakhouse set up.
Yeah. Do you guys cruise? All of you? Have all of you taken a cruise, or maybe it's a goal? Maybe at some point to take a cruise. We go all the time. We like doing it, and they have this next one we're going to do is on Carnival, and they have a steakhouse, which you
Most
pay.
of them do have steakhouse.
Yeah, most of them have a steakhouse, and you have to pay.
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Miss Nancy. You have to pay extra to go to the steakhouse, but we try to do it one night. We don't do it on every cruise because they've kind of priced themselves up. What is it, about $50 a person now?
Yeah, but this one, see, the reason we're doing it,
because we like steak.
It's half off.
Oh, really?
It's $25 off, so it's half off.
Oh, yeah, we'll take that. When we first started cruising, I want to say the steakhouse was about $25.
$25 a person.
And it's been going up by $10. Now it's up.
It's about $52 now.
$52 a
I
person.
think that's what it was last time.
So I don't know if it's a lot of money to pay for a steak meal, But if it's half off, we get in there for 25 again. Yeah, that's a good deal. But we don't do it every cruise. We used to do it every cruise, but they've priced themselves to the point we do it about every third cruise or something.
Norwegian. It's included with our package that we get.
Oh,
Sorry.
cool.
Sorry.
I had something to say and it just whoop, that's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Look, we're glad that some of y'all have come in because I didn't know if anybody'd still be up this time of night.
What time is it? Oh, Lordy, it's bedtime.
It's 7:50 here. I don't know. Some of them might be in other time zones. It might be later. Hey, share this on your Facebook or something. Get folks in here to watch our talking about nothing. My nose is running a little bit. Oh, you want to share anything with the folks? No?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I cooked, cleaned up the dishes, time to cook again. Cleaned up the dishes, it was time to cook again.
While we had our grandchildren here. And
in between, they were, I'm hungry. Let me get the dishes washed. I'm fixing to cook again.
And they had a good time, though.
They did.
And we loved having
We
them.
went to the movies.
We took them to the movies, yeah. You know,
Never seen that movie.
It was 5 of us. We took them to a Disney movie. So it was 5 of us. And we went in the middle of the day when it was, I guess, matinee price. And, of course, everybody had to have popcorn. Everybody had to have a drink and, all that.
You can't go to the show without popcorn.
I know. I'm not complaining.
Jeez.
I'm just saying it was $110 was my bill for that one movie. But, it's okay. The kids, the grandkids, they don't think about money. They just.
Because their popcorn and drink, they had an icy and they got candy.
Yeah, it was a package deal. They got a little bag of popcorn, a candy of their choice, and a drink for $10.
No, it was just M&Ms.
Was it just M&Ms? They didn't get a choice.
But we took them to the dollar store to get their choice of candy.
Yeah, yeah. On the way out of the movie, we come out of the movie and we're walking back through the main area, and one of the grandkids starts, "Can we get some more candy?" I'm like, "No, not here. We'll stop and get you some candy on the way home." So we stopped at a dollar store, and you got nice candy for all of them for less.
They picked out just what they wanted.
Yeah.
And it was only like $5.
But for less than what we would have bought one little something at the theater, which I understand. Theaters got to make money.
One of them was really smart. Riley. She was the smart one. She got a double candy bar. When the king size is 2 candy bars in one.
Yeah, so she had candy for that day and the next day. Of course, the parents know how they are, and they limit their sugar intake and all that. Well, we didn't limit nothing at grandparents' house, and son, they were bouncing off the wall. There was times I was just looking at them in awe at how much energy they were trying to burn off.
I took them outside.
I took them outside one time. I made them play tag. Just get out there in the heat and run, chase each other. It didn't even slow them down. Didn't affect them at all. So, yeah, that sugar was getting them pretty good. It is crazy, Nancy. Over $100 to go see a movie. But,
they make their money on the popcorn because, popcorn don't cost that much.
Yeah. But it's a memory that they'll take with them. And I know it's a memory that we got, with our grandkids.
That's right. That is exactly right.
Yeah. We loaded them up.
So.
Okay, finally made it back. Where'd you go, Georgie? I didn't know you left out.
So then we took them out on the boat, and they all got to drive it.
Yep, we took them out on Nana and Papa's boat, and got out in the river, and I let each one take a turn steering the boat. So
there was only one that could actually.
Yeah, the grandson, he's 12 now, and they have a boat. He goes out with his dad. So I let him actually drive the boat. The other two, I just kind of put them in my lap and let them help me steer.
But the difference
But in their mind,
with
they was
his,
driving the
but
boat.
the difference with him, he's never been in the river
Yeah,
driving,
they're normally out in bigger water. But, they did good.
and he kept it in the middle.
We had fun.
He did really good.
Yep. So they got to ride on the boat. And I've got a side-by-side. Every day I'd have to get it out in the afternoon and take them all around the property.
They got to drive that.
Yeah. I let them, the 12-year-old, I let him actually drive it. The other two, just like on the boat, I let them kind of get in my lap and drive the boat. Or, I got another thought in my head. Let them steer the side by side. But like I say, in their mind, they were driving. So
They had fun. So
it's all good stuff.
they collected eggs.
Nancy says it's storming in Maryland. I was watching Ryan Hall
Y'all.
a little while ago. Yeah, Ryan Hall, y'all, is his channel. And he's doing pretty good with his channel. He's got 200,000 or 300,000 followers. A little bit more than what we got. Just a little. But yeah, he was showing all that weather going on over there. So if you want to keep up with it, not that you need to leave our live we got going on, but Ryan Hall, y'all, he's a good weather guy.
What you pulling up over there?
I will pull him up.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh,
I said, what are you?
Well, I'm going to talk about a couple of channels. I think it's what I'm going to talk about tonight is YouTube channels. Do y'all have favorite? I'm sure you do. Well, like, I guess we're kind of leading into this first one I'm going to talk about. We share with you guys what we're doing, and we share some things about our family, just like we just shared that our grandchildren were here with us and things we did with them. So even though we don't know you guys personally as our audience, y'all kind of get a sense of who we are, and you sort of start kind of feeling like you know us. And I do the same way when I watch channels.
Several of them, I call them our friends, but
yeah,
I don't even know who they are really.
Some of them we've been watching for years.
We did meet one, the one that bought the campground.
Yeah, we did.
We did meet them.
Yeah. So you get to where you feel like you kind of know these people and you enjoy watching them and following them and all that stuff. And some we followed for a long time, several years. We've seen them have babies, and now that baby's older and they've done had another baby, and the family's grown and this and that. But and then I don't necessarily get bored with their stuff, but I guess I kind of do. After a certain amount of time and their videos are kind of showing the same thing every time, I kind of move on to other people. But I normally...
You got a lot of people you follow.
Yeah. I normally go back to them. And that's what happened last week. There was a couple that I had been watching for quite some time, and I enjoyed their stuff. They're over in Louisiana somewhere, and their channel was Cajun Country Living was their channel. So it was a husband and wife, and I think they got a daughter, and they got a place in Louisiana, and they were building, they're fixing their place up and building. They got some containers, and they were making a barn out of these containers. They had 3 of them. They stacked them, and they both could weld, and they, and anyhow, they were doing things. And I kind of got hooked on their channel, and I watched them for a pretty good while. And then I like I say, this kind of showing the same sort of stuff, and I kind of moved on to something else. Well, one day last week, one of theirs popped up, or I thought about them or something. That's why I wonder what they're doing now, because I hadn't watched one of their videos in maybe a year, 9 months, whatever. And I went over there, and they have split up. They got their... Let me show the channel. I'll show their channel real quick. So here's some of their videos here. And these are some of the recent ones. So now they've split up, and she's got a channel and he's got a channel. Now, they're not being ugly towards one another, and I got to give them kudos for that. They're being very respectful of each other, but they did share with their audience that, behind the scenes, things wasn't as perfect maybe as they made it look. They didn't go into detail about what, and that's great. And they're being cordial towards each other, but they are getting a divorce, and now they each have their own channel. And I've watched a couple of the videos, their individual videos now, and it's not the same. I just probably wish them the best. And yeah, you're right, Dennis. You think about something and it pops up. I think I talked about one of their videos one time and shared it with you. They found a baby deer, a fawn. It was in the road. They picked it up, took it home, and
They had to come get it.
yeah, let me think how it went. So the place where the fawn was at was in front of a house that had a bunch of dogs. And they knew that if they didn't do something, those dogs were going to come get that fawn. They'd kill that fawn. But also, those particular neighbors, they don't get along with too well. So those neighbors saw them pick the fawn up, and they called the wildlife people. The wildlife people came out that evening, and uh, the couple that picked it up, they intended on nourishing it. You know, they had a bottle and they was going to bottle feed it until it got up big enough, and they were going to let it just go. You know, because they have deer that come in their backyard every day, and they felt like eventually it would go off with them. Um, the wildlife people came and informed them that they had to take the animal; they couldn't keep the fawn. And then they informed them, you know, because they thought, well, they're going to take it and take it to a sanctuary somewhere or something. And they said, no, we have to euthanize this animal. So Louisiana has some kind of rule or law or something about certain animals uh, if they get taken by people like that and sort of quote domesticated or whatever, they have to euthanize them. And that's just anyhow, that was a hard video for them to make, and it brought up a crazy law that you know I know it's not that way in Mississippi. If they catch you with one like that, they take it from you, but they'll take it to a sanctuary somewhere and they let it do that way. But in Louisiana, they have to euthanize it. But anyhow, that was one of their videos, and I talked about it maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, on one of our podcasts or something. Uh, so I know I had shared one of their videos. But yeah, it just kind of, I don't know these people, just like most of y'all don't know me, but I've watched a lot of their videos and I just kind of felt like I had gotten to know them. And it just kind of hurt to see that they're splitting up. But hey, that's the way life goes. It happens. It's not going to happen here, but it does happen. I don't know this. I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that 80% of marriages end up in divorce. I don't know. I don't know. But then you got some people that get several divorces. I guess that counts in there somehow. I don't know. And I'm not saying that people that don't get a divorce are any better than people that do get a divorce. It just sometimes doesn't work out. I happen to be in one that worked out. I know what y'all thinking. Who would leave something like me? I know that's what y'all are thinking. And I agree with you 100%. Yep, 100%. Um, have y'all got? I'm going to share a couple of channels and stuff and they say she's been through two. Well, I'm going to say that was two very ignorant men because who would leave somebody like you? They just they were low, like Donald Trump say, they're very low IQ. Yeah, do y'all have some channels that y'all watch that are kind of favorites? That share them with me. Share them in the comments because I might want to go watch them. I listen to a lot of music type stuff because I got my guitars back here and all that, and I stumbled on a guy the other day that I've never seen. I'm gonna show you one of his. This is a guy named River Crombie, something like that. But he was covering a Leonard Skinner song that I'm learning how to play, and that's kind of how it came about. It's this Leonard Skinner song. I was learning how to play it, and I was going to YouTube and listening to, uh, seeing some tutorials and that sort of stuff. But because I was because I was researching that, he popped up because he had covered it, and the dude's got like 136,000 subscribers, and I can see why, because he's a very good player and a very good singer. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this for you. I'm sorry, Nancy, but still, I'm gonna say that they were just low IQ. Who would do something to somebody as sweet as you are? That's just wrong. That's wrong as two boys kissing, and that is wrong. I'll say it right here. Anyway, let me let me share this guy with you. And Georgie, I know you can say it that way, but I know what you was thinking. Yeah, I know what you was thinking. Let me share this guy with you. I want y'all to listen to him. He's pretty good. Let's see. Please. All right, here we go. I don't know how to make this any bigger, but I'm going to start it. Let y'all listen. He's good. It's a great song anyway, one of the classics.
Well, Mama told me when I was young, come sit beside me, my only son, and listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day.
I'll help her with a code right quick.
Oh, take your time, don't live too fast. Troubles will come, they will pass. You'll find a woman.
Can y'all hear that okay?
Oh yeah, and you'll find love. And don't forget, son, there is someone up above. And be a simple kind of man, or be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Forget your lust for the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul.
Okay, I'll stop that. You're right. I didn't even think about copyright. I don't care. If they don't monetize something, that's fine with me. But yeah, that dude, man, he's good. River Crombie, Crombie. I don't know if it's Crombie or Crombie. They put that on here a year ago. It's had 7.5 million views. But anyway, it popped up, and I subscribed to his channel. I want to hear some more of his stuff. But yeah, man, wasn't that good? So yeah, that's some of the stuff I like. I listen to people that do music. Speaking of that, let me find another one. Uh, I ran across these one day. Let me share this couple. This is a couple called Gilly and the Girl. And they say they're not professionals. They don't tour per se, but they do gigs, and they have done they said cruise ships. They've done a lot of entertaining on cruise ships. Um, they're over in Florida somewhere. And in our travels, I'm going to try to get to see them at some point. They'll do little short videos like this.
This is it. Okay, this is it.
Just sitting on the couch and he sings good. She sings great.
I know this pain. I know this pain. Why do you lock yourself up in these chains?
And they do a little bit of everything.
No
They don't
one
stick
can
to one
change your
genre.
life except for you. Don't ever let anyone step all over you. Just open your heart and your mind. Is it really fair to feel
Hard to be humble.
this way inside? Oh, someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Until then, baby, are you gonna like I told you not to make you cry? Don't you know, things will change, things will go your way. If you hold on for one more day, if you hold on for one more day, things will go your way.
All right, I'll stop that. You got a taste of it there. Those guys are good. But anyway, I'm going to try to get to see them somewhere around Florida. I know we're planning another trip to the Villages. We started talking about it today. We're going to try to get over there and spend a week. I think that's kind of where we landed on the Villages. Is we're not going to buy over there, although we could, but we've decided not to. But there's plenty of VRBOs and all that. So we're just going to go over and rent a house for a week. There's Hellhound, man. Welcome to the club, man. We are just talking about YouTube channels and what we like and don't like and all that. Let's see. I saw a comment up here. What did I see? Somebody said they like watching stuff about Israel and things over there. I do some of that too. You know, I never thought about before the copyright how somebody could get on here and just sort of be a DJ, just sit here and play songs, and people could chat and have the music going in the background and watch music style videos. That would be an interesting thing to do. Sure would. Sons, could I get another cup of coffee, please? You can come talk to the people and I'll go fix it. I know what that answer is going to be.
I got major issues.
Well, I'll come help you with your major issues in a little while. So yeah, we watch. So I like watching homesteading type videos. I watch some people up in a couple of them up in Alaska. They're doing the kind of the off grid stuff. Watch a couple. We've been watching a couple over in maybe they're in Arkansas. I don't remember the Hollers. Where are the Hollers at? Maybe they're in the Carolinas. Let me find their channel.
That's the two couples, sisters or brothers. Sister
Yeah.
brother. They're in Arkansas, and then the ones that's totally off grid. I can't remember where they are. They're over there somewhere too. Carolinas, I think.
See if I can find them. Ta-da-ta-da-ta-ta. Say you got 2 legs, don't you? Hey. So here's this couple, and the name of their channel is a Holler Homestead. You know, they've got 182,000 subscribers. They're not off grid. They just kind of homestead and they do a lot of stuff. And I don't have the sound turned on. But you know, we've been watching them for a long time, and they had three boys. I want to say two of them were twins, and then they had a daughter, and we were around. They already had the sons when we came along watching them, and we saw when they had the first daughter. So she's on up 3 or 4 years old now, and they've had a second daughter that's I don't know, I don't know how old the second one is. Um, yeah, it's just another one like I was talking about earlier. Never met these people, probably never will meet these people, but you kind of get drawn in. You know, when you watch them for a certain amount of time, you get to where you think you know them, or you feel like you know them, even though you don't. So that's one that we've watched for a long time, and I still go back every now and then and watch videos, see how they're doing. It's kind of one of those things. What they're doing now at this time of the year with their garden and all that stuff is the same thing they did this time of year last year, you know, and so forth. So I don't watch them as uh, regular as I used to, but you know, I go back and check on them every now and then, see what's happening. We've watched it. The boys are getting old enough. They're probably going to be leaving the nest soon. Uh, but I just wondered, do y'all have channels like that you've been watching for a long time, and you get to where you feel like you know these people? All right, I got to get back in these comments. Let's see. Simple Living Alaska. That's one of the ones I like to watch. Yep. We started watching them a couple of years ago, and they've moved a couple of times. We've seen them go from this place to that place, and they had a place way up on a lake you had to get to by in the wintertime you had to go by ski. Uh, Summertime you had to go by boat. I think they might have gotten rid of that. I don't know. Now they are the Simple Living Alaska. They are near. I don't know exactly where they're at, but they're near the place we're going next week. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities to run into them while we're there, because I know they live near where we're going. I've seen them 3 o'clock in the morning drive through this little coffee shop that my daughter-in-law actually worked at. So I know where that coffee shop's at, and it's right there where we're going. So who knows? We might run into them. All right. Nancy says she watches a whole family in Texas that has 15 different YouTube channels. My goodness, how do you keep up with that? Yeah, how do you keep up with that? All right, I'm bringing up the Alaska channel. I'll bring that. Yeah, the Simple Living Alaska. I found them a couple of years ago, and I've been watching them for a couple of years. And you know, you can get some pretty good ideas. I don't want to go off grid. I'm too old. I don't. You know, that's hard work. Um, you know, I'm going to say my grandparents. My grandparents lived similar to that. uh, my grandparents had electricity. My grandparents did not have a wood stove. They had like a gas stove. They did have an outhouse. I remember that. After my grandfather passed away, it was room enough in the house, because it's a small house. It was room enough in the house to take one of the areas and make it into a bathroom. I remember I was about, I don't know, I was little. My grandfather passed away when I was 3. So shortly after that, somewhere around the age of 5, maybe, I remember my dad and my uncle putting the bathroom in the house. But kind of what I was going back to is they lived a hard life. They lived off the land, even though they had some niceties. They had land and they did a garden and they did, they raised enough corn to eat and have corn for animals, and they slaughtered their own animals. They did a lot of things that these people that we see now on some of these channels uh, are going back to. Uh, we came along. We were just glad we didn't have to work as hard as our grandparents did, because that was hard work to do that. I know uh, each one of them out in that area would plant like sugarcane, and they would have a large section of sugarcane, and there was a cane mill that was mobile. So they would take it to one person's uh, farm and make their syrup and stuff that they make out of the cane. And once they got theirs done, they'd move it to the next one. And they all worked together to do that stuff. And then we came along, and we've got, not only do we have electricity, but we had air conditioning. We've always had indoor plumbing and indoor bathrooms, and we kept making things nicer, nicer, nicer. And now some people are trying to go backwards and go back to living that type lifestyle. Um, I don't want to go full fledged that way, but some of these channels I watch, they're canning or preserving meat or something like. Well, that's a neat idea. I could do that. I built me a cold smoker and I make my own bacon, and we do some canning and all that. So you can get some good ideas from it. Okay, so let me share this Simple Living Alaska. Some of you watch it, but some of you don't. So this is them right here, and they're in a greenhouse that they built, and they're planting some plants and all that. So they do they're completely off grid. And certain times of the year, they go fishing for certain type fish. They got some big stuff up there in Alaska. They harvest animals, and they do the hunting thing, and they plant a lot of stuff. And, they're fun to watch. Yeah, I like to watch them too. All right, let's see. All right, let's look at comments. Let's see. Whole family in Texas with 15 channels. I just don't know how somebody can keep up with 15 channels. That's a lot of work. Are we talking about the couple in Alaska? It seemed like I remember them getting a sawmill. A lot of these homesteaders get those portable sawmills and cut their own lumber. I was very intrigued by the portable sawmills, and I thought about it for about that long. I thought about getting one a few years ago, but man, I'm too old. 20 years ago, yeah, I'd have got one, because I've got land, I've got timber, I could cut my own, but I'm a little too old now, I think. All right, so the Bearded Butchers, I've never heard of them. All right, Georgie says Roman and Brittany. I remember they knew everything last 16 years. Okay, I'm not familiar with Roman and Brittany. Who is Roman and Brittany, Georgie? Can I search that on YouTube and find that? Let me see if I can find. I don't know that I've ever watched them. I see a Roman Atwood. Roman Atwood. I see a Roman Atwood. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. So you're gonna have to share that with me somewhere, Brittany. Brittany. Georgie? I'm interested. I don't see a Roman and Brittany. I don't know what the name of it. So Bearded Butchers. So you watch the Bearded Butchers. All right, Feathers Me. I think I've seen some of their stuff. Oh, that is the right one. This Roman Atwood. Okay, I see a short. Let me share that. So that's the one you're talking about here. Oh, it went to no, that's a podcast. So they got a podcast, and that's I'm assuming that's Brittany. Okay. Well, now that I've searched them, they'll start popping up. I'll have to watch some of their stuff. The Bearded Butchers. I have seen some of their stuff. I'm not into. I've never butchered a cow. That's the only thing I've ever butchered, really. And I do like to deer hunt, and I can skin a buck and I can run a trot line. I'm not a big fish eater, although I have done trot lines before. I'm just not a big fish, but I do. I try to kill one, maybe 2 deer a year, and I skin those out and we cut it up and we grind our own meat and all that stuff. But I wouldn't know how to butcher a cow. How to cut the right cuts and all that. Yeah, yeah, hellhound. I have seen them. Yeah, send me that, Georgie. I'll sure take a look at them. Uh, we do a cow, but I've got a farmer nearby that I buy half a cow from about every other year. They raise them and feed them a certain way, and all that stuff. They take them to the butcher, have it. We fill out a sheet of how we want everything cut, and they take them and get it all done. It's vacuum packed. Lady calls me when she picks it up. I run over to their farm and pick up my meat. So we sort of do that. I like the idea. I know I'm getting good, clean meat. It's not all doctored up, and it doesn't have dye in it to keep it red and all of that like they have in the store. I don't mind buying meat from. I'm not afraid of the meat in the store. Maybe I should be. Uh, the more I see from everything going on, we should question everything now. It seems like. Um, but yeah, we buy meat from a local farm. So we've got a nice pile of meat in the freezer. We've canned a bunch of stuff and all that, but I wouldn't want to go back to the way they used to do things. I don't want to go that far back. Georgie says, buy local. That's right. That's getting to be um, a more and more common thing, especially in rural. I got to use that word rural. That's hard to say. Y'all have trouble saying, I guess I could say rural, rural areas. Yeah, out in the rural areas like we live in, there's almost always a farmer doing this, where you can go say, hey, yeah, I want, get your next set of yearlings. I want to have a cow. Um, Matter of fact, it's popular enough. Sometimes our farmer that we buy from, they have trouble getting their stuff into the meat market. The meat market's so busy because it's so many people doing this now. They get behind, and I have seen them turn some away. They already had more than they could handle, so it must be pretty popular. And the lady that I do it with, I've done it with her a lot, enough to where she knows about every other year. So she kind of plans me in, because if she don't, I'll call her up and she say, well, they're all taken. So a lot of people do that. And I did the first time we did it, I weighed all the meat that we got, and then I divided it by, how much I spent, and it was pretty reasonable. Maybe a little bit more than what you would spend in the store, but not much. It wasn't much. Um, you had to kind of average it out. But say for hamburger, I paid more per pound than I should have. But for some of the steaks and the higher end pieces, I paid a whole lot less than I would have in the store. So, it all kind of averaged out. All right. So let's see. Somebody, Georgie says, got a little Amish store and get fresh stuff. Yeah. Do y'all seen the here lately? It's the lettuce is contaminated, and now they're saying something about eggs. Has something going on with eggs right now, so you can get ready for those prices to go up. We've got chickens, so I don't care. Last time egg prices went crazy, we didn't even notice. We didn't even know. We were still giving eggs away. Uh, we've got 16 chickens. 3 of them are roosters, so I got 13 hens, and I'm getting right at a dozen eggs a day. we don't eat that much. So we got a lot of friends that they like us because we give them eggs. The only jelly that we've made, we do make some jelly. We like to make Mayhaw jelly. A lot of you are probably not familiar with Mayhaw jelly. And it's spelled just like it sounds, Mayhaw, Mayhaw. It's a kind of a berry tree that's unique to the South, usually in wet areas along river banks and that sort of stuff. But man, that's the best jelly you'll ever eat. Now, I don't think you can get it in the store. You might see it at like a farmer's market or like your Amish thing. They might have it. All right, Georgie gets eggs from her mother-in-law. We eat a lot of eggs. We probably eat more eggs than we would normally, if we were buying them. But we've got so many. We probably got 8 or 9 18 packs sitting in there. So we like to give them away. I've had pretty good honeybees in the past. I'm kind of down to one hive right now, but I've got enough honey in there to last us for a long time. Okay, so Hellhound says, let's see. Hellhound says the other YouTube channel he likes to watch is called the Veggie Boys. Family owned farm. They grow their own veggies, raise their own beef, cows, chickens for eggs, and meat birds. I've never gotten into the meat birds. That starts getting into work. And the older I get, the less work I want to do. I'll just continue buying my chickens at the grocery or get that rotisserie. And they grow their own corn. All right. Veggie Boys. I'm going to go look for it. Let's see if we can share that with everybody. Let me back that up. Hey, this is nice because you guys are sharing some channels with me that I probably ordinarily wouldn't see. So here's your Veggie Boys. Now I used to do a garden, not a big garden, but I did a decent garden, and it just got to where either we wouldn't get enough rain or we get too much rain. But more often than not, we would leave. We'd go on vacation for a couple of weeks, come back. Well, you can't do that with a garden. You got to tend it every day. And we'd come back and the grass would be done taking it. And I wasted all my time and my money. Uh, so we discovered a farm similar to this. It's just a huge farm, and they grow their stuff just like you see right there. Um, and what they do is they charge $12 for a 5-gallon bucket, whatever you can put in it. They don't care what you put in it, but it's $12. You bring your own buckets. And so we've started doing that. And the farm is huge, probably has 4 or 5 acres of just tomatoes. And they have everything. I'm just saying that one thing is that much. But yeah, I'll start watching the Veggie Boys. I sure will. So since we found that place, it's about 30 minutes from here. So when we get ready, we go up there and fill up a few 5-gallon buckets, come home and can it if we want to, and all that. So that's my garden now. It's called Charlie's You Pick It. Go to Charlie's You Pick It. There is a couple up near that Charlie's You Pick It, about 30 minutes from me. Older couple, and they do similar stuff. They're not off grid, but they're kind of homesteading. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of their channel, but they have a huge following. It's just an older couple, literally right down the road from me. I hadn't watched them in a long time, but they have a real big following. He teaches how to. I know when I was learning how to make my own bacon, I ran into one of their videos. I didn't realize they were this close to me, but I was up in that area doing something, and somebody mentioned them to me. I said, "No, I don't know who you're talking about." And they kept talking about. I said, "Oh yeah, I've seen their channel." They said they live about 5 miles down that road right there, where we were at. I had no idea. So they're pretty big. Okay, Nancy says I need to check out Ryan the Roaster. And he's in Alabama. Okay, I'm missing some comments here. Hang on. Hide that. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, Miss Nancy's got some stuff going on. I want to make sure we talk about this. I missed the comments here. So there's something going on with your throat, Miss Nancy. Something to do with thyroid. So Miss Nancy's got some health issues going on. Okay. I'm going to pray for you tonight, and I ask everybody else to say a prayer tonight for Miss Nancy. Prayer works wonders. So I promise you, Miss Nancy, that I'm going to pray for you tonight. And look, let me tell you guys, you all know I'm a Christian guy. If a lot of times we're quick to say I'm sending prayers, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Not only are you telling that person that, you're kind of making a contract between you and God at that point, that you're going to talk to him on their behalf. So don't take that lightly. When you tell somebody you're going to pray for them, you make sure you pray for them. Don't just throw that out there lightly. So I will be praying for you, Miss Nancy. All right. So she says, I like coffee. Check out Ryan the Roaster. Let's go see Ryan the Roaster. Let me find him right quick. I like that we all have different things that we like to watch. And then we also have some in common. All right, Ryan the Roaster. I found him. Let's see. So Ryan the Roaster, I'm not familiar with his channel. So what does he have, a coffee company? Is that what he's got? Does Does he raise coffee beans in Alabama? So this is Ryan the Roaster. I'm not familiar with his channel, so you have to tell us. Tell us about Ryan the Roaster. Does he just have a coffee shop? Uh, what's the deal? Okay, looks like he sells coffee. You know, that brings up the question, where all will coffee grow? And I is it like tobacco? Is it against the law to raise it unless you have a permit or license or something? All right, so now that I have brought him up, some of his stuff will start popping up. Um, yeah, Georgie, that's uh, okay. Hellhound said he downloaded the Morse Magnet. Cool. Um, yeah, look, you know, there again, I say when you tell somebody you're going to pray for them, you're also you're kind of making a deal with God too. You're not just telling them. You're making a promise to God that you're going to talk to Him on their behalf. So don't take it lightly. If you tell somebody you're going to pray for them, pray for them. If you are lightly about it and not really sincere, then don't say it. That's just me. All right. So let's see. All right. So on my last live, most of you that are here were on that one also. We talked about ham radio and Morse code. So you got the Morse Mania app, and more of that app gets hard after a while. Oh no, I tell you, stick with it, you'll get it. I like the way it does. Just first couple of letters, and then when you get okay with those, and it moves you to the next ones, and uh, before you know it, you'll have it. You're welcome, Miss Nancy. You're welcome. I'm certainly going to take care of that tonight. Yep, sure will. I was thinking about, I don't know, you guys tell me what y'all think. I was thinking about doing a Bible type podcast or live or whatever, but it will be just for subscribers. I don't think I want to put that to the whole world. I think that's getting a little personal, and I want that to be just for subscribers of the channel, just kind of the group. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think I can. Georgie Mike can help me out here. I can't do it through this program we're using, but if I go live just through YouTube, I think I can limit the viewers to just subscribers. So you'd have to be subscribed to the channel to get to view. Man, the Bible's an awesome thing. I've been reading some stuff and changing my views on some things based on what I'm reading and studying and all that. And I'd like to share that, but I don't want to just put that out to the whole world. Some of y'all that are faithful followers of the channel, I think some of y'all would enjoy doing that. Okay, Georgie's saying she thinks, I don't know. Well, you can't grow tobacco. They do it in Virginia and all that, but you can't do it here. I'm sure it would grow here, but you have to have a license or permit or something. Let me see. I'm going to Google it while we're talking about it. Can you grow coffee beans in the U.S.? Let's see. Okay, so it says this is just the AI answer. I asked, "Can you grow coffee beans in the U.S.?" and it says yes, you can grow coffee beans in the United States, but commercial production is limited to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and small parts of California. All right, it says you can grow a coffee plant as an indoor house plant anywhere in the US, but it will only produce a tiny amount of fruit, not enough to make the daily cups of coffee. All right, it says US commercial coffee is very expensive because high land and labor costs make it hard to compete with massive farms in South America. Okay, so it sounds like yes, we can grow coffee, but it does not grow well in the United States. You could probably, like it's talking about, have a house plant, keeping it inside. It would do okay, you know, get a few beans. I might have to get me a coffee plant and grow one in the house. Then if I only got a few beans, I could grind them up and just mix it in with my Folgers or something, and see how it tastes. All right, so let's see. I'm getting some good advice here. You schedule it through your Restream, then go to Studio and set it to members only before you go live. My YouTube Studio. Okay, so I don't have a membership. I don't want people to pay money to see me, although I'm worth it. Don't get me wrong. Uh, this is probably one of the hottest podcasts on YouTube, and I can verify that by the 6 people that are watching. No, I don't want to charge money. So can I set it to just subscribers only? I'll look at that. I see what you're saying though. So you set it up, you schedule it, and while you're waiting on that time to elapse, you go into your YouTube Studio and set that one to. Okay, I'll look at that. Yeah, I'll look at that. Yeah, we might get into some Bible discussions. I'm so afraid that I might put the wrong information out. I don't, I think anything I discuss Bible wise, I say any of it, don't take my word for it. Go to the Bible and read and learn on your own and get your own. Don't take my word or anybody else's. That's what the Bible's for. So you can go straight to the source. But anyhow, I'll look into that. We're leaving in a couple of days going to Alaska. We'll be there for about 3 weeks. So we're going to be probably quiet on the YouTube, the media front for the next 3 weeks. But see, Jim agrees with me. This is one of the hottest shows on YouTube right here. She gets the ding-a-ling for that comment. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Georgie says I can set it to subscribers only. The book of Genesis. Yeah. It's a lot in the book of Genesis. A whole lot. I've been looking late. I'll just throw a teaser out there. I've been looking and researching and reading and studying and praying about is hell forever? And I'll just kind of leave it there. Does hell last forever or not? I know what I've been taught my whole life, but I'm reading some things and learning some stuff that's got me thinking about things a little different. Yep. But if you're not a Christian and you've never really gone to church and you've not looked into the Bible, the things that I'm going to talk about might be a little bit complicated. I guess that's what I want everybody's welcome to come listen in. If I do this, listen in, and we'll talk about the easy stuff. But I'm also going to talk about some stuff that's not it's not so easy. Because if you start studying and really getting into the Bible, it can get it gets deep. It gets really deep, and a lot of people never get there. They go to church, they listen to what comes out of the pulpit, which is not wrong. But a lot of times the pastor, he's got to preach to the lowest level. He's got to assume there's someone out there that knows nothing, and he's preaching to that level. But if you get into the Bible and get studying, there's so much more in there. Georgie, I'm glad to see that you're doing that. And if I do one of these podcasts, I can see the conversation getting really good. We are going up near Fairbanks, Miss Nancy. You know, we have been up to, this will be our third trip, I believe, to Alaska. And we've been up there when it's daylight the whole time. That's unreal. It's unreal. I know the first time we went up there, we went out. Last night we were there. We wanted to go out and watch the Northern Lights to see if we see the Northern Lights. So we just drove north out of the town we were in. It just got out in the middle of boondocks. And the sun was on the horizon. I mean, it was right there. And I told my wife, so we'll pull over. It'll be dark in about 15 minutes because that's the way it works here. Once the sun hits the horizon, about 15 minutes later, it's down. Well, about 2 hours later, it was still a little sliver of sun still showing. So it's a different world up there. But it did get dark. It was late, but it got dark, and we got to see the Northern Lights in a grand kind of way. So we have seen those, and it was really nice. The last trip we made, it was daylight 24 hours. It was crazy. Yeah, Georgie, you're right, and I'm not. And I put your comment up there so people know what we're talking about. I'm not saying a pastor's wrong. They are not wrong, but most of the time, if you go back and read what he's preaching about and the whole chapter, maybe several verses before and several verses after, wherever he's at, a lot of times it's a lot more depth to it than what he shares. And he's not wrong for doing that. He's not holding anything back. It's just he knows there's probably people in the congregation that they're not there yet. They're not ready for that depth. You know, he has to preach to that kind of lowest level of people in their spiritual walk, or people that have not started their spiritual walk. You know, the Bible talks about, you know, when you become a Christian, you're a babe. Spiritually, you're a babe and you're on the milk. You know, but as you learn and you read and you study and you pray, you get stronger and stronger and know more and more. And then at some point you're ready for the meat. It even it says that in the Bible. I'd have to find it somewhere, but I know it's there. So the Bible acknowledges there are different levels, you know, and then at some point you'll be an old, your spiritual walk starts as a baby, and then you're a young adult, and then eventually you'll be an older adult. And that's where it gets into some people, they believe and they accept, but they never get out of that their spiritual growth doesn't happen. They stay a babe. They're on the milk their whole life. And that's okay. You know, I'd rather them do that than not do that. But really we're expected to do what we're supposed to do and grow in our spiritual walk. Oh yeah. And I'm guilty. Look, I'm as guilty as anybody. I became a Christian a long time ago, and I remained a spiritual babe for most of my life. just a few years ago, I started really studying and growing in my. I feel like I'm a teenager now spiritually. I've still got a lot to learn. Um, yeah, yeah. See, we're gonna dive off into this stuff. You know, I've heard Georgie say stuff similar to this before, so I kind of know where Georgie's. I know where Georgie's at, and a lot of people are at that same place. Uh, here's what I got to say, and I might have said this before. I believe this is in the book of Acts. So you had Paul. Paul was going around preaching, sharing the gospel, and he wasn't really accepted everywhere he went. And one particular town, they just beat him down. They drug him outside the city, and they thought he was dead. They left him for dead. They had beat him so hard. Uh, I don't know what all they was good at back then, but I know they was good at stoning and beating and killing people. So he was beat down enough. They thought he was dead. Um, so they drug him outside the city and left him for dead. And then the next verse it says, with the disciples around him, Paul got up. Uh, so what I take from that is it could have simply said Paul got up, but that's not what it is. It said with the disciples around him, Paul got up. So I think we need to keep Christian people around us, and you'll mostly find that at church. I'm just going to say that this is going to be my limited push for going to church, because I believe in my heart you don't have to go to church to be a Christian. But scriptures like this, where it talks about the disciples around him, Paul got up. He drew on their strength. So you got to think, once you become a Christian, and if you are a Christian, you know what I'm talking about. Satan hits you with everything he's got. It might be a family member that does something to you. It might be a coworker. It might be in your own mind, just getting in your head. But Satan wants to beat you down, and he'll do that. And metaphorically speaking, he will drag you out and leave you for dead. Well, it's kind of like Paul. You need some strong Christian people around you to help you get back up. So I've decided personally I'm not going to what they call join a church. Not going to do it. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it says I have to join a church. So I don't fill out a paper and say I'm a member of a church. We go to church every week. We went to one near the house here for several years, and now we've gone to another one, and we've been there for a couple of years. But at any point, I might feel the Holy Spirit telling me, okay, I'm ready for you to go somewhere else. And I will. Georgia said all her friends in the chat right now. We need to pray for Georgia. Georgia, you got to get out more. Hellhound said he made a mistake in his 20s, sent him back to church. I'm telling you, church is a good thing, but nothing replaces your personal relationship and your personal study in the Bible. I mean, that's God's word that he put in writing, and basically somebody handed it to you, put it in your hand. All you got to just, you don't have to have that mediary of a church or preacher for you. Sometimes I'm not good at saying what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm saying going to church is a great thing. Go find you a good church and go. What you'll get out of those relationships with those people is awesome. But your relationship with God the focus needs to be you and your Bible, you and your personal relationship, not through the lens necessarily of, you don't have to have that church in there, but yeah, need to go to church. Nancy says she's getting sleep. So y'all gonna get me. I'm not a preacher. Y'all gonna get me going here. All right, I'm gonna think about subscribers only something, and we'll get into it. All right. Miss Nancy, we're going to say goodnight to you. We're going to get into some prayers here in a little bit. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank y'all for being here. I'm glad y'all shared some channels with us that y'all like to watch. I hope some of the channels that I watch was interesting to you. I hope you enjoyed the chat we had tonight about different stuff. And now I'm going to look at, we get back from Alaska, I'll start looking at a subscribers only Bible talk maybe. How about that? All right, let's see. Hell, when I was a kid, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Yeah, I can see that. All right, in the chat, everybody tell everybody bye. I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes so y'all can say your goodbyes to everybody. Now, since y'all have been a part of the hottest show on YouTube, tell your friends about it. Give us your take on the man who won a Proverbs 31 but can't even be an Ephesians 5:25 man. I'm not familiar with that, Georgie. I will look into it. Let me find a pen. I got to jot that down now. I'm not. Well, if I tell you something's in there, you can pretty well write it down. It's in there. I might be able to tell you where it's at. I'm writing this down if I can get my pen to write. There you go. Nope, that ain't right. Talking about going back old school. I got a pencil. I know it'll write. Proverbs 31. And then Ephesians 5:25. I would look into that. And once I read it, I might be familiar with it, but I can't think of it right now. All right, George, I told you earlier, I need a theme song for the Live with Larry. Got to have a theme song. I'm counting on you for that. You did good on the last one. I'm still using it. All right. Good night, everybody. I enjoyed every minute of this, and I look forward to the next one. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Say your prayers tonight, and don't forget, we're going to pray for somebody.